Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Today we are taking a new story, which is Morris and Horace, but mostly Dolores. Now, in this story, we are learning something about how to be a responsible person toward your community, toward the people around you, your friends, your neighbors, and how to be a cooperative person. Now, before we start our lesson, we will see a little video. In this video, I want you to focus about the meaning in that video, and then I'll ask you something, okay?
How can we be responsible friends and neighbors?
My parents always tell me to be quiet when I'm playing outside with my friends, so that we don't disturb the neighbors.
Being polite is one way to be a responsible neighbor, but there are many more ways. Good neighbors respect their neighbor's property. They communicate by sharing important information about their community, and they show their neighbors that they appreciate or care for them by offering them help when they need it.
You need any help? Sure. Come on over.
Good neighbors don't make demands of their neighbors, but they may firmly request things.
I have a huge favor to ask you. Okay. My son Jackson is petrified of your dog. He thinks he is ferocious. Do you think the next time you're out walking him, you could just walk him on the leash?
Sure, yeah.
Good neighbors make good friends. Are you a good neighbor? This week you will learn how friends and neighbors communicate with each other, help each other,
You're welcome.
and respect each other. How can you be a responsible friend and neighbor?
Okay, my student, this is the question of the week. How can we be a responsible friends or neighbors in our community, in our lives? This is what we're gonna learn in the story Horace, Morris, but mostly Dolores. In this story, we're gonna learn how the friends that are communicating together, how they help each other. But first, before we go to this story, let me ask you, if you want to be a good neighbor or a good friend, what can you do in your community? What can you do to your neighbors? What can you do to your friends? From this video, what do you think? Yes, we have to communicate with our neighbors, with our friends. We have to ask about them. We have to give them aid or some help if they need any help. We have to respect them. We have to be polite with these people because those people, they don't know us so much, so we have to be polite with them. We have to respect them because if you give respect in life, you would receive respect. Okay, so we have to be polite people with the people around us. And now we're gonna learn from Horace and Morris how to be polite and how to help each other as friends and as neighbors in the real life. Okay, so I want you to open the page 296 in your reading books. In this page, what you can see, there's a what? There's a, what kind of animal are these? These are, open the page 296 in your books, in your reading book. What can you see in this picture? Yes, it's mice. They are riding what? They are riding some type of tiger maybe, or animal. Maybe it's a tiger. Yes. So let's see the other part. They are riding a cat or some type of cat or tiger maybe. Let's see what kind of adventure they are having. Let's see what they are having inside the story. But before, let's learn the genre of this story. Genre of this story is what? Fantasy. What does it mean, fantasy? Fantasy is a story that we are making from our imagination, but can never happen in the real life. Why? Because most of the time, I'm not saying always, but most of the time, the characters are animals, and these animals are talking and acting like real life people, which can never happen in the real life. So what we call it fantasy. So fantasy is something I made up from my imagination. I made this story, but it can never happen in the real life. This story is made by James Howe, illustrated by Amy Walrod. Now, in this story, while you are reading, I want you to focus on this question: how can we be responsible friends and neighbors? How can you be a responsible friend? How can you be a truthful friend, a nice friend to the others? How to let all the people love you? What can we do? And what can we help our neighbors in? So in this story, I want you to focus on this question while we are reading. Let's go for the next page and let's start the story together. Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, loved adventure. They sailed the seven sewers. Now these are three friends. One of them, his name is Horace. The other, his name is Morris. There are two boys, Horace and Morris. But mostly Dolores. Dolores is a girl. So we have three friends. Two of them are boys and one of them is a girl. They are the most truthful friends ever, and they are doing the whole adventures together. They sail the whole 7 sewers together. Sewers are the place where the water after you wash your hands go, which is beneath our house and beneath our buildings. And because the mice, they live in the holes, beneath the houses, in the sewers, so these mice, they sailed the 7 sewers. They go in a boat and they are sailing the 7 sewers. They climbed Mount Everest. They dared to go where no mouse had gone before. Now, they went everywhere. They went for the 7 sewers, which is a great achievement for mice. And they climbed also Mount Everest, which is the similar of our Everest. And they dared to go where no mouse had gone before. They are so brave, brave mice. But remember, in this story, we are not dealing with them as mice. We are dealing with them as real people. And I want you to imagine them as real children or real people. Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, never said, "This is something we shouldn't do." They said, "This is something we have got to do." And so there was almost nothing they didn't do. So because these children or these mice were so brave, they never said for each other, "We can't do that, we can't do that, this is so hard to do, we can't go in that place." No, every time there's adventure, they would say, "We have to do it, we got to do it." So they encourage each other and they go together because they are truthful friends. They do everything together. One of the adventures they have, they are riding a tiger or a cat, and they are They are jumping inside a circle, a fire ring in the circus. Now, Horace and Morris and Dolores were friends, the greatest of friends, the truest of friends, the now and forever, I am yours sort of friends. And then one day, Horace and Morris had a decision to make. Now, these mice, they are not like any other mice that you faced before in your life. These are the most truthful, the greatest friends ever, truthful friends ever. That they are the kind of friends that I am yours, which means that they are giving everything to each other. They are helping each other with everything. They are spending the whole time together. So they are so much of friends. Okay? But one day, Horace and Morris, the two boys in this group, they decided to do something. What they decided to do? They didn't want to do anything without Dolores. But as Horace pointed out, a boy mouse must do what a boy mouse must do. Now, we have the three friends. They are doing everything together. And they never wanted to do anything without Dolores, which is the girl. But one day, Horace said, "But we can't do all the activities with Dolores. Dolores is a girl. And sometimes we need to be boys. We need to be alone. We need to push the girl away and to do our own thing." And the boys, obviously, they love things different from the girls. For example, we don't love to play with dolls as boys. The boys, they love, for example, to ride bicycles, to play football, to play basketball, to play something tough or something that different from the girls. So Horace one day, he got so bored and he said, "The boy must do what they must do. We don't need Dolores anymore." So he wanted to kick Dolores out and to go only with Morris. Horace and Morris didn't even try. They didn't even smile. "Goodbye, Dolores," they said. What kind of a place doesn't allow girls? Dolores wondered as she watched her friends step through the door of the Mega Mice Clubhouse. Now, Morris and Horace, they get away from Dolores and they say to her, "You can't come with us because this place doesn't allow girls. I'm sorry for that. So we're gonna leave you outside and we're gonna step inside this place alone because we are boys." So what was this place? This place, it was called Mega Mice Clubhouse. As you can see, Clubhouse, as we said before, it's a small building or a building, a big building, but you put this building to gather all the people you love inside this building. You can make a party inside, you can make games, you can play together. So they made their own clubhouse with their friends, with their boys friends, and they call it Mega Mice, and they wrote in it, no girls allowed, no girls allowed, only boys. So that's why they kicked their friend away and they said, I'm sorry, it's true that you are our friend, but we can't take you here inside, this is only for boys. So she was so mad, like, what is the place that doesn't allow girls? She was wondering until she saw it and she said, oh, that's why they didn't take me, it's a clubhouse. Now, this is the clubhouse of the boys. You see how it's messy and it is a rough place and everybody is playing. One of them is playing with a gun, one of them is playing with the sticks, and they are shooting each other, they are playing with each other as swords. So they have so much fun, but it's a tough playing. It's a type of a playing that is specialized for the boys mostly. That's why they didn't take any girls with them. And when she looked to that clubhouse, she found that they are all playing and it's all messy, and she said, yikes, what kind of a place is this? Ew, thank God they didn't take me. Downhearted, Dolores went on her way alone. It wasn't long before Dolores had a decision to make. She didn't really want to do anything without Horace and Morris, but she figured a girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. She said this aloud 3 times real fast, just to prove that she could. Now, she went away from that house and she was heartbroken. She said, these are my friends, my true friends, and now they are leaving me just to stay with other friends and leaving me alone. So she was so sad, but then, because she's a brave girl, she stand and she said, like they did before, I didn't want to do anything without them, but since they are leaving me right now, then I'm thinking to myself, like, the girl must do what the girl must do, so I don't care for these boys, I'm gonna do my own thing. And she replied, and she said this aloud 3 times to herself, just to encourage herself. A girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. A girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. A girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. And then she went where? Let's see what she did. I'll bet Horace and Morris couldn't do that, she thought, but she wasn't smiling as she stepped through the door of the Cheese Puff Clubhouse. Day after day, Dolores went to the Cheese Puffs. Day after day, Horace and Morris went to Mega Mice. They missed playing with each other, but, as they said, a girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. A boy mouse must do what a boy mouse must do. Horace and Morris, and even Dolores, were sure their friendship would never be the same. But then one day, Dolores made a different decision. Now, Dolores, she said, I'll bet Horace and Morris they are not doing what I'm doing right now. And then she stepped into a clubhouse that is specialized for girls. When she entered inside, that clubhouse, it's called what? It's called the Cheese Puff. From the name, they are doing everything with the cheese. They are doing dolls with the cheese. They are making houses and buildings with the cheese. They are playing with the cheese. They are doing everything with the cheese. So when she entered, she's not the kind of person who's only eating and cooking or playing with dolls, you know. She's an adventurer. She's a person who is so brave that she likes to go outside and to discover the world. And now she knows that this place, it doesn't fit with her. But anyway, because her friends left her, now she has to leave them too. And now she has to come to this place, which she didn't like so much. Now, as you can see in the wall, all the girls, what they are doing in this place, why they are gathering. They are making a tea party, they are playing with dolls, they are making some buildings of a cheese. And now the task of this day was what? Today's project, gifts for mother made from moisture. So they are making everything for their families and for their friends, but they are making it in the girl style, like they are making everything from cheese, tea party, or dolls. Okay? Now when she entered inside, She didn't like the place, but she has to do it because she figured out like the girl must do what the girl must do. And Horace and Morris said the same for themselves. A boy must do what a boy must do. So they are separated, but they didn't like it. And they are missing each other. But one day Dolores, because she get fed up with everything, she said that's enough. She made a decision. What kind of decision she made and what will happen next? This is what we're gonna learn in the next lesson next time. So at that time, see you and wish you a blessing day. Thank you so much.